drum at 9.5.
Be intimidated. Week 17 in the NFL kicks off tomorrow afternoon. Let's look ahead to some of the big games on the slate. Lewis, we start with you. What are you watching in Bears-Niners?
Looking at the red zone here, look, you see the 49ers on your screen. They were 4 for 6 against the Indianapolis Colts. They're number 8 overall in the NFL in terms of red zone TD efficiency. Brock can throw it. Christian can run it. They are humming. But the Bears, why did they beat the Packers? They held the Packers 0 for 5 in terms of trips inside the red zone that resulted in touchdowns. They couldn't get it in the end zone. That's what it's going to be about. That's what's going to decide this football game. This is a great matchup this weekend, no question.
Graz, Ravens, Packers. What are we watching?
Who's going to play quarterback for either team? Lamar Jackson injured his back in last week's game. He did not practice yesterday with that back injury, so we're watching that. This is Jordan Love. He was in concussion protocol, but he was a limited practice participant yesterday, so that's encouraging. Obviously, he has to go through all the steps of the concussion protocol yet, but encouraging he was back out there. Also, the backup, Malik Willis, he practiced yesterday as well. He had that shoulder injury.
Shockingly, a potential loser leaves town match. Saturday, what are we watching in Eagles-Bills?
Oh, Eagles run versus that Buffalo Bills defense. They have struggled in the run game. They've had 500-yard rushers. The Buffalo run defense has given 500-yard rushers. 4 for over $140. Saquon's had 300-yard games, but guess what, Graz? 2 of the last 3 games have been 100 for him. Big time. You know what I talked about, a formula for winning? That might be it. I'm just giving a little clue in.
Playing some good run defenses over that time? Or?
We don't talk about who we play.
All right, I'm just saying.
What we've done.
Literally what we've done.
What we've done.
Buffalo currently 28th in the NFL in defensive rush success rate this season.
Not good.
Josh Allen has the Bills in the playoffs for the 7th straight year. Here's what the quarterback had to say about finally cashing in.
The way that I put it in terms is, to win the lottery, you got to buy a ticket. To win a Super Bowl, you got to make the playoffs. Getting into the playoffs is our ticket. Now, what we do with that is up to us. And
Graz, let's start with you. Eagles or Bills? And I'm looking this way and I'm thinking, this is not Graz.
This is not Graz. Different white guy. Different old white guy. There you go.
Confused there.
It's
all like eggnog early in the morning.
I would never wear that sweater.
What's wrong with this sweater?
It's a beautiful sweater. Eagles or Bills? When we're looking at this one, who makes the statement to make us feel better about their Super Bowl prospects?
I think it's got to be the Bills. I mean, the Eagles they have their spot, right? And if the Bills can do anything at all to slow down Saquon Barkley in the Eagles' run game, which hasn't been the same as it was last year, but is still obviously formidable because of how good Saquon is. If the Bills can, then I think we have something, because they haven't stopped anybody's run game all year. Ooh. If they can prove that they can show some resistance, then I think that is massive for them going into the postseason.
Saturday.
I agree. I think the Bills here, and again, to Graz's point, you're talking about having to shut down Saquon, but it's the Eagles' commitment to the run is going to be what really shows in this game. Are they going to do that? If the run's not going, do they go to that empty set, and then how does Buffalo play against that? Because that's the QB run, potentially. So now you have Saquon and you have Jalen Hurts. I like this setup, but I'll say this about the Bills. We talked about this earlier. Not a lot of great run teams in the playoffs. So the Bills with Josh Allen, they have a lot to prove this weekend, but more for the final than getting there.
Lewis, on the other side, who's going to be the key for Philadelphia in this matchup?
It's going to be Jaylen Carter. His return to health, number 1, is huge. Number 2, it's about really him being able to get that interior pressure against Josh Allen, because we know this. You give Josh time, it's an issue. Yeah. And if you let James Cook get going, it's an issue too, because they're one of the best run teams in the NFL. Yeah. The things that you're seeing on the screen right now are the kind of things that Jaylen Carter has to provide, which is disruption, which is stopping James Cook's feet behind the line of scrimmage and not letting him hit things downhill. And Jaylen Carter is one of the very best at doing that because of how explosive he is, number 1. He's going to play on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage, and then his speed. And I'll tell you what, how they rush Josh Allen is going to be critical in this game. You have to rush Josh Allen's throwing hand and make him flush left, not to his right. He flushes to his right, he's going to rip you a new one, because he's just going to extend plays, and he's going to absolutely gut you down the field. Make him go left. Jaylen Carter is the key.
Yeah, I think that's important. He hasn't played the last couple of games, which they've been fine. Again, a little bit of a level of competition thing has set in for the Eagles in December. But if he can play and be healthy, he had both shoulders, and he had procedure done. So even once he comes back, is he going to be full strength? Are they going to have to spell him? Didn't have Lane Johnson yesterday at practice on the offensive side. So they need to get healthier in the trenches there with those two key players as we head into January.
You mentioned Saquon Barkley earlier. Is he going to have the opportunity to gash this defense? How much is Philly going to need to lean on him here?
Yeah, he will definitely have the opportunity. I mean, I think when you think about what they did last year, everything came out for explosive plays in the run game, and that was really their best play, right? It was a low-risk, high-reward type play. They hadn't really gotten to. They got away from it mid-season. And again, to me, this is kind of the Seattle model. It's just the commitment to it. It might not have the same results as it did last year. There might not be as many explosive plays. If you can get Saquon over 100 yards, that's going to open it up for your receiving crew, right? Now, all of a sudden, A.J. Brown's going to have a big day. Smith is going to have a big day. Because it opens that. But the commitment to the run, don't fall in love with it. And the other thing that they did do, I think they had 7 runs last week with Jalen Hurts out of that empty set. Getting him, that is part of the run game. So don't misunderstand me. A QB running it can still be that. So if you can spread them apart and still work your way through the middle of that defense and continue to extend drives, that kind of thing, that's just as effective. But I would like to see Barkley, the commitment to the run game.
You know, just like we were just talking about, where I mentioned the fact that you want to stop James Cook's feet behind the line of scrimmage, that is the key for Saquon. When Saquon hit this thing downhill, if he's 3-4 yards into the defense, onto the second level, and he hasn't broken stride, that's when he becomes a problem.
Yes.
And that's what you saw a week ago. That's where he starts to get rolling. And so really, look, if you're Buffalo, your linebackers have to play downhill in a hurry. You cannot let him get to you 4 and 5 yards deep where then he hasn't been touched, where all of a sudden now that 4.3 speed starts to become a factor. That 225-pound body starts to become a factor. That is really the key to this whole run game. And obviously that starts up front. Lane Johnson coming back would be huge. But this offensive line, just get him there, because once he gets there, I don't think there's any question about whether or not he still has home run capabilities, because he's shown you that.
It's insane. When you look at that Buffalo's allowing 144 yards again. That they are in the playoffs, and literally it's a pick 'em in the AFC anyway. Like when you get there, this could be the team that's represented. That type of run defense, you would think they would have no chance. That's how good Josh Allen has played. Because by the way, on the other side, his receiving core ain't, it's not the top of the league either. Their run game would change. It's just amazing to see that they're as formidable as they are during the playoffs.
As you know, that kind of thing is going to come home to roost.
Yeah, that
eventually it'll get exposed.
Yeah.
Buffalo's had some confounding performances this year. They almost played down to their competition, but they have showed up against the better teams. Is this a Josh Allen put your cape on sort of game?
Yeah, I think it has to be, because I don't think they magically solved their run defense issues this week, right? Like, so maybe they look a little better, but they're going to need to score points if they're going to get. I mean, the Eagles have seen the tape. They know they can get Saquon loose. You talk about they need him to get over 100 yards. The problem is last year that only took 2 plays, right? This year it's been a little bit more of a grind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Josh Allen's going to have to win a shootout here in order to beat the Eagles.
Best bet in this one, Philadelphia plus 1.5. You gentlemen don't know this. I married in the Bills Mafia. My in-laws are in town. However, they've had enough of my shenanigans, so they're probably not watching this. They're not going to want the extra stuff, so we can try to slip it past everybody.
Philly plus 1.5.
Lane Johnson this year, we're not sure if he's going to play. With Lane Johnson over the last 2 seasons, 25-4 straight up, 20-9 against the spread. Without Lane Johnson, 2-3 straight up, 2-3 against the spread. Keep an eye on the injury report.
O-line, baby.
That
Tell
will be
the
the
people
key.
what they need to know.
Coming up, the